What's going on, guys? Junior's Fishing Company with a chatterbait video today. So here I've got, I think this might be a ½ ounce. It looks really big, but it's pretty hollow. The head is pretty hollow, so I think it's just a ½ ounce Z-Man Freedom chatterbait. And this head and the hook are just kind of connected with loops, and so they both swing super freely. So Freedom, I'm guessing that swings freely. I did a couple like weird wraps up on the head and then wrap back. So I've got some thread coming back and forth here. You might be able to see it. But this head, I just want to keep it as still as I can because this is going to be a dubbing loop because I don't have a ton of room right here. And the only way I can really think of putting a ton of stuff is with a dubbing loop. So I have a little bump and I put a bunch of super glue down, hoping that nothing is going to slide off of this. I don't know how it's going to work. I think it'll be just fine. I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of bucktail to about the end of my hook just to keep some of that dubbing loop, all of it's synthetic, to keep some of that stuff from kind of wrapping around the hook too much. And again, this head swings. So it's gonna, this isn't perfect. I didn't want to spend another 15 minutes trying to figure out how to hold that more steady. So it's gonna be a little bit of an adventure. But, so the first thing I'm gonna put down, this is green ginger bucktail from Musky Fool. And I'm gonna put just a little bit to about somewhere between my hook point and the end of the hook, maybe a little hair past. Again, just to keep some of the materials from wrapping. My dubbing loop, which I've got ready to go, is a bunch of different stuff. I've got Squimpish hair in olive sparkle. I love big fly fiber. This is the multicolor sunset. And then the rest is Nightmare Musky Flies. I've got olive perch back. This is Holo flash and fiber. And then the other two are just flash and fiber. This is flash and fiber UV olive perch back. And then I've got UV baitfish blend. So this head is orange and olive. Kind of like a darker olive. It might look black on the camera, but it's definitely olive. And so I kind of wanted to try and match that, but I want a little bit of a lighter body than the head. So that's what I'm going with. I've got 210 black here. And again, I guarantee you when I'm wrapping this head's gonna swing. It's not perfect. I just needed it a little bit out of the way. I bought this thinking, oh, that'll be fun. Well, you know, it hasn't been so far. So I'm gonna put this bucktail on, and I'm not gonna go full 360 because this bend right here where the hook comes down, I don't want any hair, and I really don't want to have to rotate my vise because then the head's gonna wobble all over the place. So I'm gonna take a little bit more hair off of here, and I'm just gonna get a little bit of this bucktail tied on. And again, I'm not gonna go full 360. I know my dubbing loop will be. I'm just gonna avoid trying to hit my head. So I'll push that down onto the side. I really can't see what I'm doing, but that's alright. So again, I just want to cover up. When this mat's down, it's just gonna cover up that hook point. That's all that this is intending to do. I'm very intentional about what color bucktail I'm putting here. I didn't want to do black or white or pink or anything like that because this synthetic it's going to be relatively thin, and I think if I put black down right here, it's going to really darken up that dubbing loop, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm just going to get my dubbing loop ready. I'm going to make my dubbing loop pretty long. I'll just wrap back to to about right where my bucktail is. And then I'm just going to come all the way up. And I'm not going to put this in my bobbin cradle, because my bobbin cradle, that thread is going to spin around and it's going to knock that head around a bunch. So I'm just going to let that dangle there, which again is going to be kind of annoying. This isn't the most fun thing that I sat here for like 10 minutes trying to figure out how to hold this head into place, and I thought if I worry about that longer than I'm going to tie the fly, then it's not worth it. So I've got some swax, some loon low tack, and I'm just going to put that on because it helps hold those synthetics down. This is a shorter bundle, but it's thick, so because I don't have a ton of room, and I will probably have to end up wrapping some of my material over itself at the end, which is fine. So I'm going to get that in, push it up, release my loon D-loop tweezers. Alright, so dubbin loop's ready to go. You can see that I've got it kind of tapered out. I want the longest fibers to be in the back and the shortest to be in the front, and I've got a little short bunch right here that's going to kind of be my little collar, and I'm hoping I have enough room. So I'm going to get this spun up. I'm going to kind of start a little bit slow, putting pressure on that thread, and I can get it spinning. Give it a few spins. Then I'm going to pick this out gently because it's not super tight in there. You want to make sure you pick it about halfway through so that you'll lose some stuff doing this, but you don't want that core by your thread to be too thick. So you can see my head does not want to sit where I want it to. I'm going to start this as far back as I can, and again that head's going to get in my way, but I'm doing the best that I can here. I'm going to do super tight wraps, almost wrapping over the other one and just putzing my way up because I want as much of this loop on there as I can get. So I'm going to get this wrapped off. I might even put a little bit of super glue on there so I can do like 3 little half hitches. Cut off. And then I'm just going to try and work, maybe I'll just do head cement. Head cement's nice in something like this because it's super, I mean, this is water-based. First of all, it doesn't stink. Second of all, it'll kind of soak up into that thread, and it dries really clear, and it doesn't clump. And I don't have to worry about it sticking to my head, or just put some, because really durability is not going to be a problem right there, because this head's going to kind of cover it up. So I'm going to get this thread chopped off, and we'll see how it looks. Alright, so I'm just going to comb this out. I'm going to start just kind of doing it lightly, but I really trust that those are in, that these fibers are in. Again, they're synthetic, they're super tough. I'm not worried about, you know, some delicate marabou ripping or anything like that. Just want to get all those trapped fibers out. Kind of just dig onto my hook, and I can almost just get my really fine ones and just pick out all that little stuff, because eventually those might come out, and when I trim this I don't want to have to trim it 16 times. Although when you catch a fish it's going to get all matted up anyway. So, dubbing loop, olive, Z-Man Freedom chatterbait. I'm going to get this wet, trimmed up. We'll see how she looks. Alright, ½ ounce dubbing loop. It's starting to, these synthetics don't absorb any water, so it's always hard to kind of tell exactly what it's going to look like what's in the water. If it's deer hair or marabou, you can kind of get a pretty good glimpse of what it's going to look like. But that head will sit just like this, and you can see, I mean, I almost could have gone on to my eye and wrapped more. I kind of got scared of doing that, but it wouldn't have fallen off. So I could have done that too, and I only bought one of these, so this is the only one I'm going to make. But a little olive, nice little hot spot orange on the bottom of that head with a gold blade. I don't know how, I've never used a free swinging chatterbait, so we'll see. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. Junior's Fishing Company. We'll see you in the next one.